Yeah, I don't think this is, in particular because the king is so active.
This is an educational moment, I feel like, because many people, me possibly included, would rush back here to defend the pawn. But why do that if you can keep your king in the very center?
Yeah. And after g4, it should just be, yeah, king.
Go back? You don't want to allow this, I guess.
No, it's still fine, but you don't want to.
Check.
King e5, yeah. But once the pawn, I mean, White's chance, if there ever was one, was if he could make a lot of progress without allowing his pawns to get into contact with the h-pawn.
Sure.
Yeah, now after g4, you constantly have to watch out for h5 counterplay. After knight h5, it's probably okay, but you know, I mean, White probably continues for a while because Black can't immediately trade anything.
But you can't win.
Yeah, this is just very, very equal now.
Is it still be nice to promote hour or not? I haven't stopped
you're
the
in
time
charge.
when I said it.
You're in charge of the promote timekeeping.
Anyway, Pramod says soothing voice, exclamation mark. Did he play Lawrence yesterday? Question marks.
Lawrence dodged me. Lawrence issued a rematch challenge on Twitter and then did not show up.
I'm sorry to hear that. I do not know about the Fabiano-Lawrence relationship, but I do think that they're still on excellent terms from everything I've heard.
Yeah, I think
but no longer professionally involved
with each other.
Magnus Carlsen, Wesley, so the man from, is he from Oslo or from Bærum? I don't know where Bærum is, but I've seen this next to his name. Against the man from Minnetonka. Wesley, so. Minnetonka, outside of Minnesota, where the weather is supposed to be even colder than in Hamburg sometimes. Have you been to that part of the woods?
No, I haven't, but I wanted to also... If you say a man from, it probably should, and that's... it should be from a Filipino town of...
That's fair enough, yeah. Of course, he is from the Philippines. He currently lives in Minnetonka. But I can't call someone who lives in Minnetonka the man from Minnetonka, no? Or does it imply origin?
I think it does very strongly imply origin. But
fair enough. And I'm being told it's Bærum by Peter Heiner, or whatever that weird letter they use in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it? Bærum? Probably you can't pronounce it in the chat.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But yeah. Thanks, Peter. And I will officially declare Be Nice to Pramod NVS Hour is over. Pramod, enough already. Easy on all the constant... Nah, he hasn't said that much. Carlsen's second is on chat. Do you say on chat or in the chat?
I would say in the chat, but I think you're...
He's a native though, so maybe that's native English speaker, I would guess. So maybe that's the one aspect of Pramod. Should not criticize.
He's a native of what?
He's a native of India, I would guess, and I would guess English is his first language. Like, you can't always tell from how he's writing, but I believe it is the case.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
What are we talking about?
Honestly, I think English still, I mean, it's not the first language. Pretty much every single Indian speaks English, but I don't think it's their first language.
That's an interesting question for Pramod and other Indians in the chat. So I'm not educated enough. There's different types of Hindu language, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, we are...
I will talk myself into a hole here because I don't know enough. I was assuming that every Indian speaks English and therefore we can sort of call it a first language. But maybe you're right.
Even that is not entirely true from what I've seen. There are some cricketers whose English is sort of not great.
But aren't they British normally?
No, I mean Indian cricketers, not... You haven't... Yeah, okay. I was wondering if I can ask you for a USB port on air, and now I have.
Yes and yes.
Awesome.
And we're back. Wesley so put his king back on f6. Yeah, this is just a draw. Even
Yeah,
Magnus cannot win this position.
Yeah, Magnus will continue because draw offers are not allowed, but pretty much for that reason only. And I have a feeling that, like, yeah, that's just true, right?
I'm being told it's Indian languages, not Hindu languages. And you can easily spot Indian English, like continuous present tense use. I'm not sure if grammar is different, but that still doesn't mean they're not native speakers, right? Pramod says, I speak Telugu, which is my mother tongue, Hindi, English, some Tamil, which Vishy speaks. Okay. I've always underestimated Pramod. He speaks a lot of languages.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
King
knew?
h4, knight g6 check. This game is about to finally finish, I think. I think this is why Wesley played king f6 here. You could actually offer a pawn ending here.
Knight g6,
Yeah.
but king h5.
Yeah, well, any move, but I think it actually is by far the cleanest draw here. Yeah, here h5 I think is required. You might lose otherwise. Might not, but
Not hard either.
yeah, knight g6 check has been played, and I guess Magnus will go king g3, or maybe he will also feel okay, enough is enough. He did go king g3.
Now we can't. Can we take? No, this is dangerous, right?
You might be able. Actually, you might go king g6 even. Force
Oh,
white
we
to
still
go-
have h5.
Yeah, force white to go h4. No, this is a draw.
Yeah.
You have to go h4, and now we go king f6, and king e6 and king d6, and that probably is still a draw actually.
Barely, but yeah.
But I don't know if you feel the urge to do that as black here, because I mean the position is definitely good enough to just go knight anywhere and say, yeah, if you want to continue, let's by all means continue playing this completely drawn knight endgame. On the other hand, knight takes a4 if it does make a draw, and I mean, to my eyes it does. It has the advantage of absolutely forcing it immediately. Like the game ends pretty much.
Wesley is considering it.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's taking his time here. We will find out.
Yeah, so we have the Karyakin Kramnik game also ended in a draw as expected, so we have 2 draws and 3 games running.
I'm still being educated on Indian languages. The Hawk, I believe, is Grandmaster Jonathan Hawkins, saying there are around 20 official languages in India. That is a lot of official languages.
Yeah, that is.
So how does it work? English is an official language everywhere, but then there's 19 more, or English is not an official language in some parts? Not necessarily asking you, so the chat.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I have a feeling English probably is still the official language of the country, but could be wrong.
No, but a country can have more than one official language.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
I'm assuming English is an official language everywhere, and then there's different official languages depending on region. I don't know. In Russia, is Russian the only official language? Or does it depend on where you are?
I think so. I think there could be federal districts where there's a second language, but I'm not entirely sure about that. And we're obviously, slowly but surely getting towards, shuffling towards subjects which could become politically charged.
Look, took his time to take, then he took. Magnus plays h4. Of course, they both know this is a draw, but can't hurt to check. Because if you go here, you might lose. Not that Wesley is ever going to do that.
Yeah, and Magnus will now try to win their position by playing. He played king f3, and I guess there's more than one move that makes a draw here, but but the easiest one is what Wesley is doing. Just keep a far position here, and
can you go here?
Probably can, yeah.
I always like the very far opposition better than the close enough opposition.
Yeah. Shouldn't matter a great deal, but both should draw. Yeah. King e3, you have to go king e7, I assume, but it really isn't very, very difficult from here. King d3, king d7, king c3. But we can play king e6 here.
Your point is here we queen?
Yeah, here we queen. Yeah, that would be a mistake. That would be a mistake, but that's unlikely to happen. So
we need to find some
king e6 is good enough.
Gegenfelder. What are you doing to me, program?
Now king d7 first, king c3, and now king e6 creates a threat of king e5. You have to go king d4, and we get the position again.
And we're back. Hang on, is there still action here? What are these crazy kids doing?
Not a lot. No, I don't think you can.
E5.
I don't think you can fairly describe this as action. They're just not allowed to offer a draw in this tournament, so they are playing everything out. But
maybe 5 is playing for a win.
well, he might win the. Yeah, even this, but I think there are cleaner ways of doing exactly the same.
Yeah, but it's going to end peacefully. Every day of the week.
Yeah, so we are left with pretty much only the Hikaru game.
Did we mention this officially ended?
I did say on air that this ended in a draw, yeah.
Wesley is either getting a new score sheet or the game is over. I'm going with no new score sheet. Magnus does not make a draw here yet. Oh no, the game is over. I was wrong. Yeah, not much else to try. Interesting. Well, okay, I guess it's not very hard to calculate, but still interesting decision. He was very sure of himself to go for the pawn endgame.
Well, it is one of the better known pawn endings where you draw a not 1 against 0 pawn down pawn endgame.
Right.
Because yeah, generally you try to avoid those because why would you subject yourself to them? But in this case, no real reason to.
The chat has switched to discussing TV shows. So let's give some quick opinions. I watched all of the episodes of 13 Reasons Why, even though I think they're for teenagers, really. But I'm very immature, so I kind of enjoyed it, good acting. But I felt like it might glorify suicide a teeny tiny bit. Maybe not ideal for mentally fragile teenagers. I tried to watch the first episode of Taboo. Didn't make it through. Looked like
Really?
it was just Tom Hardy making funny faces, mumbling funny stuff, and I just thought I can't watch 12 episodes of this. Did you like it?
I haven't started yet, no.
Oh, okay.
Don't have a fixed opinion therefore, but yeah. We probably will watch The American Gods once we are done recapping this exciting round.
Yeah, we have 4 episodes in independently, so we have 2 to go. I'm not sure I like American Gods yet. I like the visuals, I like Ian McShane. I'm not sure I like what's actually happening.
Yeah,
Maybe it's not that important.
I'm not entirely convinced yet, but I mean we'll see. It's and I'm sort of my default setting is very favorable because I really like Neil Gaiman as a writer. I read many of his books, including the one this is based on, although that was a long time ago.
I could be wrong, but didn't Neil Gaiman co-write something with Terry Pratchett?
You did some research. That's not fair. There's no way you could have known that. Like, there's just no way you could have known that. It's actually very good, and there should be. I think they're making a TV series out of that. It's called The Omens.
The Omens.
Good Omens. Sorry.
Good Omens.
Good Omens. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the book is very good, and if they don't spoil it very much, I think it should be excellent.
Mm-hmm. Sounds tempting. Is it fantasy or what's the genre?
If you have to pigeonhole it somehow, it is fantasy, but yeah.
It is also fantasy that we will get a decisive game today. We are left with our boy Anish Giri, who is still slightly worse, but I have a feeling he's going to hold. Hikaru has not made a lot of progress. Now he's trying to put his pawns. I don't know. Does he want to go f4? Probably not yet.
I'm not sure. In regards to that pawn endgame we already discussed, I was wondering if White's chances improve if you go g4, g5. So maybe he is trying to push for that first, but that actually creates targets for potential counterplay.
Yeah,
So
take it.
I'm not sure he can do it without first trading everything off.
I agree. There's questions about game of the day. I am not sure. I'm not sure we will do one if it's 5 draws. There's no breakout candidate, but of course when there are great games, we will do stuff.
Yeah, nothing really jumps out at you today. Kraken had potential, but I think Sergei just defended excellently well. At some point it did look like Vlad managed to outplay him and might be pressing quite seriously, but as we've come to expect from Sergei.
And come on, Money Moy. You can tell me stuff like, I don't know, this is the Queen's Gambit accepted, stuff I wouldn't know. But you don't have to tell me that the part 3 of Terrace House, Aloha State, drops on June 13th. Like, how often do you think I check this daily? Come on. We all know that, Money Moy. But thanks, much appreciated. I'm very well aware.
That is just so depressing.
I'm not even sure if that's true. Wasn't it the 9th? Recheck it. I have a feeling 13th is far away, but I think you're right. Anish makes his living defending these positions. I don't think that's true. Normally Anish makes his living getting very good positions and then not always winning them.
No, I think that's actually completely untrue.
That's what I'm saying.
I think, you know, against Karyakin that would be a slightly unkind thing to say, but a lot truer. A lot truer. Against Anish, I actually don't think he enjoys holding these positions, and I personally won a couple against him where I felt I probably shouldn't have won them.
Thing with Anish is he's a very strong theoretician, but one drawback of being a very strong theoretician, which I also used to be at my much lower level, is that you're not used to defending bad positions because you don't get them.
Yeah, you just don't get them very often. Yeah, this is a very good point.